What is up, everybody? We are back in the building. We have a really almost unbelievable report of something happening today that no one expected. Caught me off guard. I'm pretty sure it caught you off guard. And I'm pretty sure it caught the entire world off guard. The South Korean president, Yoon Suk Yeol. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so forgive me on that. Yoon Suk Yeol today, well, at their time, it was the middle of the night, declared martial law over the country of South Korea. Um, no one knows why he did this. What we do know is that the people of South Korea had a very negative and adverse reaction to it. The opposition party in South Korea basically said that what Mr. Yoon did was unconstitutional and it was a violation of South Korean law. And people hit the streets in response to what President Yeol did in declaring martial law. The first thing we need to do, first let me know if the sound is okay, because I didn't get a sound check. Let me know if the sound is okay. But the first thing we need to do to help everybody understand what's going on with this situation and really, lay the proper foundation for the argument that I'm going to make is we need to help people understand what martial law is. A lot of people talk about martial law, but even many of the people who talk about it don't really understand what it actually is. Many people use the term martial law. In American culture, the term martial law is used as kind of like a fear mongering. Oh God, they're going to declare martial law, and everybody knows that they're supposed to be afraid of it, but no one really knows what it is. And so what martial law is it is the relinquishing of power over a country to the military. You basically give the military control of a country. And you do this amidst the failure of what is known as the civilian government to be able to maintain control within a country, right? So to explain it more deeply, the president, the Congress, the representatives, all these people, these are all civilians. They're not military. They are elected by the people to be in positions of leadership and in government positions, basically hired by the people to be in these positions, but they are civilians. They're not in the military. They're not in any branch of the armed forces. And by law, this is the way the country, a Democrat, a republic, or a Democrat republic is supposed to operate. It is a government of the people, a government for the people, by the people, of the people. That is the civilian population of the country. So when you talk about the government in the context of the United States or in the context of South Korea, the people are the government. We choose from among our own ranks who is going to run the country. Well, when the civilian government fails to run the country effectively, then the leader of that government will declare martial law. And what this does it suspends the constitutional rights of the civilians of that country, of the population of that country, in an effort to gain control, political and militaristic control over the country. This sometimes is implemented if there's like a coup on the government where someone tries to overthrow the government, or if there's riots and violence that gets out of hand to the point where the government can't maintain control over what's happening and ensure the safety of the civilian population. Well, in times such as these, they will declare martial law. Anytime there is a breakdown in the civilian governance of the country. And this is what President Yoon of South Korea essentially claimed. He said that there were anti-democrat forces that were basically seeking to overthrow the Korean government, and destabilize the country of South Korea, right? I'm gonna play a clip. I know you guys don't like clips too much, seemingly. I'm gonna play a clip to shed a little bit more light on what's going on. But after the clip plays, I'm gonna tell you what I think is going on here, and I'm gonna tell you why everyone, even people in America, need to be very cautious and pay attention to what's going on globally, because it can have implications as to what may be attempted in the United States, especially following the election of Donald Trump to regain the presidency. So let me play this clip, and afterwards I'll break down what I think is going on and who I think is behind all of this mess, because there's definitely someone behind it. I have an idea of who it is, but we don't know for sure. But it's pretty obvious to me. And maybe once I explain it, you guys will see where I'm coming from, and you'll all have a little bit more insight as to what's going on. Let's tap in.
Our live breaking news does continue as we now have a look from the Parliament building over in South Korea. Now, if you were not with us earlier, we are following this breaking news as the South Korean president declared martial law, vowing to eliminate, quote, anti-state forces as he struggles against an opposition that controls the country's parliament and which he accuses of sympathizing with communist North Korea. The surprising move harkens back to an era of authoritarian leaders that the country has not seen since back in the 1980s, and was immediately denounced by the opposition and by the leader of the president's own conservative party. Following the president's announcement, South Korea's military proclaimed that parliament and other political gatherings that could cause, quote, social confusion would be suspended. That's according to the government-funded UNAT news agency. The military also said that the country's striking doctors should return to work within 48 hours. Thousands of doctors have been striking for months over government plans to expand the number of students at medical schools. Now, it was not immediately clear how long the president's martial law declaration could stand. Under South Korean law, martial law can be lifted with a majority vote in the parliament, where the opposition Democratic Party holds a majority. Now, TV footage showed police officers blocking the entrance of the National Assembly. I'm taking a look to see if we can see any sort of police officers in this image, but it's too high up. The one thing you are going to notice is a lot of flashing lights, as there are news media out there, and cameras are flashing. Now, the leader of the president's conservative People Power Party did call the decision to impose martial law, quote, wrong, and vowed to, quote, stop it with the people. The opposition leader, who narrowly lost to the president in the 2022 presidential election, called the announcement, quote, illegal and unconstitutional. The president said during a televised speech that martial law would help, quote, rebuild and protect the country from, quote, falling into the depths of national ruin. He said he would, quote, eradicate pro-North Korean forces and protect the constitutional democratic order. He said, quote, I will eliminate anti-state forces as quickly as possible and normalize the country. He asked the people to believe in him and tolerate, quote, some inconveniences. His approval rating has dipped in recent months, and he struggled to push his agenda against an opposition-controlled parliament since taking office in 2022. Again, you are taking a live look outside of the parliament building, where lights are flashing as media is covering this breaking story. We're, of course, going to keep on top of it as well and bring you updates as we get them. In the meantime, do want to head out to the...
Okay, so what's going on with President Yoon? Somebody saying Yoon. His first name is Yoon. His last name is Yule. Yoel. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name, but let's call him Yoon because that's the easier thing to pronounce. So President Yoon, uh, uh, basically this guy to me is a product of the new globalist agenda, right? Um, where they claim that they have to take drastic measures in defense of democracy, when in reality, the person who is circumventing or doing things that undermine democracy is them, right? Much like the Democrats under Joe Biden, Yoon, President Yoon, is one, a lame duck president, just like Joe Biden. He's not able to get anything done in the country because of his horrible policies. And the voters of South Korea have no confidence in him. A big reason why he's losing the confidence of the voters in his country is because of his wife, who has been embroiled in all types of scandal. She is suspected of incredible amounts of corruption. And when he was asked to allow oversight over her dealings and investigation into what she's actually doing as First Lady of South Korea, he chose not to allow that, and instead basically said that he would create some type of department that would oversee what she's doing and basically watch over her and basically basically the husband would investigate the wife for potential crimes against the people of South Korea. It's just BS, and the people weren't going for it. So recently, in what would be their equivalent of midterm elections, President Yoon and the Conservative Party that he represents, they have been utterly defeated when it comes to the retention of seats in the South Korean parliament. So he's basically a failed president. He's incredibly corrupt. His wife is incredibly corrupt. And now, as most failed presidents do, just like Joe Biden is doing right now, he is taking drastic measures, going to extremes that haven't been seen in South Korea since the late 1970s in an effort to retain power. These are the globalists, guys. This is the new normal when it comes to people who are, neocons, uh, uh, they globalist, um, people who are willing to do anything, say anything to retain power. They run your country into the ground fiscally. They greatly mismanage the economy of the country. And then when you, the civilian who is feeling the pain, use the resources afforded to you through democracy to vote them out of power or to put people in power who will be able to stop what they're doing to stop the bleeding, so to speak. They then try to use extremism, weaponization of the government, and of the departments of the government to shut not only the people down, but to shut down their opposition. And I ask the question, what part of democracy is that? These people always say they're doing something in defense of democracy, or they need to do something to protect democracy. But when it comes down to it, they are the people undermining democracy. And that is what President Yoon of South Korea is doing right now. Even members of his own party, right? Even members of his own party are saying that what he did was extreme. They're saying that what he did was uncalled for, right? They're saying that this was extreme measures. But I want to point to you the similarities um, to what's going on in the United States. The political party that Yoon Suk Yeol is a part of is the People's Power Party. Say that 5 times fast. The People's Power Party in South Korea. And those who are within his own party are condemning his actions, right? Exactly, Wop Funk. Yoon is basically the Korean Biden, a person who came in 2022 to great fanfare, who told the people of South Korea that he would change things, that things would be different under him. And he got in there and he was a lame duck. He basically got power so he could steal. He's totally corrupt, and they gave him the keys to the country, and he used it to pilfer. And his wife is just as bad, if not worse, than him in her corruption and her theft from the from the South Korean people. Now, let me tell you this: why do we see the same? Why do we see, parallels to the Biden regime in America? Joe Biden is another one who uses threats of extreme weaponization of the government in defense of democracy to justify his abuses of power, right? He uses weaponization of the government to beat down political opponents, and even in many cases civilians within the arena of Washington politics, right? Joe Biden greatly mismanaged the economy of the American people. He exploited the American people for tax dollars, hiring 87,000 new IRS agents who he claimed were only going to go after the rich, who used loopholes to avoid paying taxes. And the first group of people they attacked once they were hired were who? Service workers, people who make tips for a living, who work jobs where they are tipped. So we understand that this is par for the course when it comes to these globalists, this global like 1% elite. These people claim to be defenders of democracy, but every time you turn around, they're telling you that you got to relinquish a little bit of your freedoms. You got to relinquish a little bit of the very democracy that they're claiming to protect, all in the name of safety, all in the name of protecting the government, all in the name of protecting this so-called democracy. Same thing like what happened on January 6th. They blew that out of proportion. They did all this craziness, and when it came down to it, they were willing to throw people in jail for decades to cover their own asses. And the justification for doing that was, oh, we need to protect democracy. We need to defend democracy. But when you look at what's going on with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, rules for thee, not for me, because now that Joe Biden's son is under the risk of going to jail for a decade or more because he broke the laws of our democracy, all of a sudden Biden can find 11-year pardons, pull that out of the woodworks to forgive his son, who's the bagman of the Biden crime family. Yoon is no different. Yoon is doing the same type of thing. He's weaponizing the government. He's using martial law to try to beat down dissent that is aimed at him when it comes to the way he is mismanaging the country of South Korea. Guys, you never hear about South Korea having these type of problems. South Korea is a thriving democracy. They have a great economy. The people there have a high quality of life. They enjoy living there. You don't see too many South Koreans saying, hey, I'll do anything to get out of South Korea to go to America or anything else. These people are running a great country. Their country is good, but not until they allowed a corrupt element to come into the country as president. Now you got these people outside having to bust heads because the president is trying to establish martial law. And we know what this really is all about. When you put martial law in place, guess what? You can even weaponize the military against your political opponents. And that's what I feel Yoon is trying to do. Yoon knows that he's not going to win re-election, so he's trying to basically shut down, the electoral institutions, of the government institutions of that country. So he basically say, well, we're not going to have elections this year so that we can get the country under control and quell the anti-government forces that are seeking to undermine the country of South Korea. But isn't it funny that it's always anti-government, or they're trying to undermine the government when they don't agree with the people in power? This is exactly what happened on January 6th. You had a bunch of civilians who were expressing their dissatisfaction with the results of an election, and instead of calling it a riot, which is what it was, instead of saying, you know what, we understand your concern, we know that you want to make sure that your votes are being counted, and you want to make sure the person who wins the election actually assumes the role of the presidency. We're going to do our best to help you. Instead of them saying that, right? They just say, you know what? They're insurrectionists. They don't got no guns, no bullets, no knives, no nothing, but they're insurrectionists. Now we don't have to give them their freedoms that they are entitled to under, we don't have to give them their freedoms that they are granted under the Constitution, in the name of what? Weaponizing the government, weaponizing the justice system against these people, and basically making it to where you'll never hear these people's side of the story. It will always be just the government saying, yeah, we had to put those people in camps because they were a threat to democracy. The people are the democracy. Right? The people are the democracy. How can the people be a threat to their own democracy that they make up? Actually, what they're doing is a expression of democracy. It's a characteristic of democracy where people can go out and protest peacefully against things that they feel are not constitutional. And that is exactly what the people of North Korea did. They didn't just sit at home. The opposition party leader in North Korea in South Korea, the opposition party leader in South Korea called the people and encouraged them to hit the streets in protest.
The president announced this.
What President Yoon has done. And like I said before, he's a globalist, probably backed by somebody like Soros. I don't know for sure, but he kind of has that like demeanor, like a smug demeanor, like everyone's beneath him, that typical globalist demeanor. But and the people are standing up to him. So he knew he was unpopular. So he wanted to basically create a situation where people couldn't even protest him or express dissatisfaction with what he's doing, right? Because the military would be in charge and they would be calling the shots and the Constitution would be suspended. Guys, I'm telling you, the more these people try to make you think that they're all about freedom and letting it all hang out, the more you know that these people are the ones coming for your freedom, trying to strip you of your freedoms and trying to take away all your rights, take away all your money, your resources, your revenue, so you will be you will be hopelessly enslaved to them to provide for you, to offer you a little bit of scraps, a little bit of scraps or crumbs in exchange for your silence or your willing participation in your own oppression.
The president announced this martial law very late. It's in the middle of the night over there in South Korea right now. The intent to quash dissent, but the images we're seeing coming out of South Korea is not that. You are seeing an escalatory, tense situation there outside of the government building. I want to go to Mike Valeria to bring us there on the scene with what is unfolding, Mike.
Well, Rahel, we now have this ban or this declaration of martial law that has been overturned by Parliament. Will Ripley, our colleague in Taipei, was just saying it should take a simple majority of Parliament to overturn this, and that has happened within the past 2 to 3 minutes. Applause breaking out in the National Assembly. We're headed there now, but certainly a feeling of palpable apprehension of demonstrators trying to get to the National Assembly. We're seeing members of the military, law enforcement in their green camouflaged helmets and uniforms. And we had reports that these members of law enforcement were trying to stop members of the National Assembly from coming into the building to overturn this declaration of martial law. But enough members managed to get in. Again, 1:06 a.m. here in Seoul. And members
now listen, do you hear what he's saying? He declared martial law, and immediately the military came in, the law enforcement element of the country came in. And did they come there to make sure everybody was safe and nobody was trying to overthrow the government? No, they went in the parliament building and tried to prevent the members of parliament from entering into the parliament building so that they could vote down the declaration of martial law, which you don't know what you're talking about. In Korea, in South Korea, according to their constitution, the members of parliament can vote down a declaration of martial law if they feel it is unconstitutional or if it is declared for, illegitimate reasons. And this was illegitimate. You can't just declare martial law just because the parliament doesn't agree with you, and they are basically on the verge of replacing you, because basically all President Yoon has been able to do for the past year is veto bills that are unanimously voted on by the South Korean parliament. So he's incredibly unpopular. The South Korean parliament basically voted to defund his administration, basically saying, we're not giving you any more of the South Korean people's money to steal and for your wife to steal and pilfer from. So he has no budget. He's totally stripped of his financial, mobility as the president of South Korea. So he's a lame duck. He's a president who won't get anything done. But why is the military and the law enforcement, why are they there blocking members of parliament from getting in the parliament building so that they can then exercise their rights as a democracy? I tell you all the time, the very people telling you, right? The very people telling you that they are defending democracy or they're doing this in the name of democracy, they are the ones undermining democracy. And somebody said, oh, what does this have to do with Pan-Africanism? You got to learn to recognize the plays. This is like when you play football and you're watching film and you're studying film so you can see what's coming. They already do this in Africa. Look at the freaking guy, Ibrahim Traore. This guy suspended the constitution of Burkina Faso, and it was a military takeover of the government. Their constitution has been suspended. Burkina Faso has been under martial law for like 2 years already. And you guys, like trained SEALs, the same black people who speak against martial law celebrate martial law in African countries, because the media didn't, certain people didn't told them that this person's a hero and that person's a hero. Right? So we really don't even understand, a lot of us, what martial law is, and actually the threat that it proposed, that it basically presents when it comes to the leadership of civilian government, right? Government for the people, of the people, for the people, by the people, etc. It takes away the people's democratic rights. It takes away the people's ability to govern and rule over themselves, and it puts it in the hands of the military. And in many instances, the military does not give that power back. The military sits back and retains power. And in some cases, like the case over in Burkina Faso with Ibrahim Traore, the military stays in power for years and years and years, because this guy was supposed to have elections in July, and those elections never came. And what do they always use? They always say, oh, it's for safety. It's safety. Say safety from what, dude? Safety from what? Safety from you getting thrown out of power? That's what you're protecting us against? It's the same thing. The only difference is South Korea has a functioning government, a functioning society where people have means and people have rights and people have freedoms. So those people can come down to the parliament building and put pressure on the military and the law enforcement entities of that country to let those parliament members in so they could vote down the martial law decree by President Yoon. Africa doesn't have that. A lot of countries in Africa don't have that. So once the military takes over, the people just bow down and say, okay, as long as they're not messing with me. and the military does take advantage of the people and they exploit them, right? But the people are just too detached, too busy struggling to survive to really care about it or do anything about it. So we understand what's going on and we understand how all this works. So when you talk about what does that have to do with Pan-Africanism, hey, this is the blueprint. This is the film study. This is me highlighting situations and breaking them down for you so you could see the play and recognize it when they try to pull it on you in whatever respective country that you come from, whatever, wherever you are from in Africa or any third world place, or even in the community, Black community in America. They do the same type of stuff. Black people was the main ones talking about Trump's a threat to democracy. Am I lying? Black women especially. Trump's a threat to democracy. Whole time, Joe Biden was the one undermining democracy right in front of our faces. And we don't even recognize it. If you don't know how to recognize what's going on around you. That's what's going on. That's the issue. Guys, before I keep going, let me give a shout out to my boy JP from the LB for blessing us in the Cash App. My brother gave us a great Cash App contribution. I want to let everybody know that you are welcome to contribute to the stream in a monetary way via Cash App or PayPal. Both are available to you to be used to contribute to the stream. I'm placing the link in the comments once again. The link to the contribution vehicles is in the comment and it is pinned at the top of the comments. So if you feel the need or feel the desire to contribute to the stream, please feel free to do so. We appreciate all contributions and we appreciate every single thing that you do for this channel. So thank you so much in advance. But yes, this guy Yoon is he's just a lame duck president. And instead of just getting voted out like the way democracy is supposed to work, he would rather create chaos on his way out than to allow for the peaceful transition of power. And that is a theme that you are going to see becoming more prevalent among these Democrat leaders, these globalists, these neocons, these neoliberals. They are down with doing like a scorched earth philosophy if they don't get their way. They're willing to burn every single thing down. Look at Biden right now, what he's doing. He's basically escalating, trying to create a World War III type situation so that when he leaves office, Trump will inherit a mess, and then they could spend the next 4 years saying, "Oh, see, when Trump got in, World War III started. That's why you need to vote us in." I gotta know that everybody who watches my show and all my people I call my kinfolk, I gotta know that y'all understand the play. I gotta know that y'all understand what the hell is going on in these situations. These people are going scorched earth. Only problem is while they're trying to go scorched earth, you got to live here. You got to live in this country. You got to work in this country. You got to try to make a living in this country. So every American who watches stuff like what people who looks at stuff that who are watching the things that people like Joe Biden do, the things that people like President Yoon of South Korea do, I need you to understand the play that they're trying to run. If we cannot have power, we are going to destroy everything on our way out. If we can't stay in the house, we're going to burn the damn house down on our way out the door. Is that the type of leadership you want? I even asked that to the people of South Korea. Is that the type of leadership you want? People who are willing to destroy everything that your forefathers and ancestors worked to build, all in the name of personal enrichment, personal empowerment, personal gain. Ultimately, are these the people you want as leaders? Don't be like America, especially Black America. Don't be ignorant to the fact that these people only care about themselves. Don't be ignorant to the fact that these people wouldn't give a squirt of piss to put you out if you were on fire, if something was wrong with you. They're only worried about one thing. Numero uno, what I want right now, and how do I get it right now? That's what's going on with these people. That's why they are willing to go to such extreme measures in an attempt to get their way, right? Because that's all they got. That's all they got to stand on. I'll do anything. I'll do anything to retain power, because just like I keep bringing it up, and y'all gonna get tired of me bringing this up, but it's just like Tucker Carlson said, these people's job is to try to convince you that they are remarkable when in reality they are not. Right? Oh, of course, Wild Funk. That's what they're doing. They're getting ready to regroup and attack. And appreciate you. Most Pan-Africans have a great understanding of geopolitics in general. It's what makes a Pan-African 100%. Just like our forefather Marcus Garvey, Martin Delany, just like our forefather Dr. Amos Wilson. We have a great understanding, a very detailed understanding of geopolitics. And let me tell you why we have such a good understanding, because we have to work and make things happen in this world. If you're like me, you're on planes, you're going back and forth to Africa, you're trying to do business deals in Africa, you're trying to do business deals here, you need to know what direction the world is going. You need to know what direction the political infrastructure of this world is moving in, so that you can be prepared, right? So you can be prepared and ready yourself for when things change. And that's what's going on all over the world. Things are changing. People are more aware. That is one thing that I've always loved about Donald Trump's presidencies. When Donald Trump was president, people paid more attention to politics than they ever have. People were more engaged. People were participating more, whether they hated Trump or they loved him. But they always had the ability to approach the president, look at what he's doing, look at what he's dealing with, hear what he has to say, see how he thinks. And they always had access to that, right? They always knew what was going on in the White House. Versus when the Democrats and the establishment people get in, it's just like, all right, everyone, just go back to sleep now. Nothing to see here. Garvey was our forefather. You're a hater. How was Garvey not our forefather, bro? He died a long time ago. Anyway, you guys love, some of you guys love arguing, like pointless, like making pointless arguments. But it is what it is. But just understand, South Korea declared martial law. This guy will do anything to retain power. And to me, this is a characteristic of, Joe Biden holding the highest, most powerful office in the world, the presidency of the United States. These globalists, these neocons, these elitists, these one percenters, they're just willing to do whatever it takes. They're willing to do whatever it takes to hold on to power. And they don't care if it costs them their own life, your life. They don't care what happens, as long as they retain power at all costs. No cost is too great to bear. That's what I need. That's my message for you guys. You have to understand who you're dealing with, what type of people you're dealing with, and what forces are at work here. Well, brother is back. Yeah, and the people who birthed you was Africans way back down the line. What's the difference? Yeah, so that's what's going on with the martial law declaration situation. What I do want to do before we move on to the next topic, there was a video where the president of South Korea, tried to actually explain why he declared martial law, which was crazy. He tried to explain why he declared martial law. I'm just like, there was really no reason for you to declare martial law. We know why you did it. You did it because you wanted to hold on to power. Duh. I don't know why somebody has to explain that. But now he's walking back.
Breaking news, South Korean
Now
police.
he's walking back the declaration of martial law because it was voted down by the South Korean parliament. Right? Let's look at what led to him declaring martial law. And then
We are following
they
developing.
made sure they got an Asian on here too. They know about that cultural appropriation.
We are following developing situation in South Korea. Their president has lifted martial law he imposed after the parliament defied him by voting to overturn it. It began when President Yoon Suk-yeol made an unannounced address to the nation declaring martial law while accusing his political opposition of sympathizing with North Korea. Following the order, the military announced political gatherings would be suspended. Despite that, enough members of parliament were able to meet and vote to block the martial law decree. Charlie D'Agata joins us now from the Pentagon. Charlie, thank you for making time for us. Can you walk us through how we got to this moment and what has happened since the martial law was ordered?
Ouija, nice to see you again. It has been a tumultuous day. You know, the night ended in South Korea with the South Korean president declaring martial law. It took everybody by surprise. It took South Korea by surprise. Obviously, North Korea took the Pentagon, State Department, White House. Nobody was expecting this. And it was real. That martial law went into effect immediately. And as you said, banning protests, any kind of political dissent, taking control of the media. And it lasted for a fair few hours because, yes, the parliament came in, as many as could, because this is late at night, early in the morning. About 190 of 300 something came in by unanimous decision, reversed that. But apparently under South Korean law, they may reverse it. It's then up to the president to go ahead and accept that reversal. And about 6 hours later, he said, "Okay, we'll agree to take that order back." So, but for a tumultuous 6 hours, the country was under martial law order, and this is a major military ally of the United States. There are 28,500.
Right. And everything, yes, they're major allies of the United States. And everything they do, they mirror the United States. Every little trick tactic that they see United States politicians do, they try to do the same thing. And understand, when you declare martial law, you are basically stripping civilians of their constitutional rights. You no longer have the right to peaceful protest. You no longer have the right to gathering together peacefully. You no longer have the right to freedom of speech or freedom of the press. Martial law suspends the constitution of that country. And I want to tell you this. I believe this is what Joe Biden is gonna try to do before Donald Trump is inaugurated. I believe that Joe Biden and the Democrats are going to try to do exactly what they accused Donald Trump of trying to do right on the day of Biden's inauguration. I truly believe they're going to do that. I believe they're going to try to test the resolve of the American people to see exactly what we're willing to tolerate and what we're not willing to tolerate. And if you don't believe me, look in South Korea. Governments do this. Let stuff happen to see people's response to it so you know if you can get away with it in the future. But every single thing they do is like a projection, right? It's like they are literally trying to get a reaction out of you so it gives them the right or the authority to take away your freedoms. Who wants to live like that? Who wants to live under a government like that operates maliciously against its own people? That doesn't make any sense. And this was a thriving economy, and they tried it on them. Don't believe they won't try it on you.
Troops there at bases throughout South Korea. So this is something that the Pentagon was closely monitoring. I can tell you, Pentagon officials tell me that the mill-to-mill, as they call it, the South Korean military and the U.S. military were in constant communication throughout. Yes, there's a lot of soldiers that live off base, but they would have had to adhere to that curfew. But as I said, this was late at night. By early morning, about 6 o'clock in the morning, that had been reversed. But, a tumultuous time. The North Koreans were looking at it, and this is a major U.S. ally in that region.
Well, the State Department has also expressed their concerns. Let's watch.
We are watching the recent developments in the ROK with grave concern. We are seeking to engage with our Republic of Korea counterparts at every level. Our alliance with the Republic of Korea is ironclad, and we're
and let me tell you, this is the crazy thing. He rescinded the martial law decree 6 hours later, but he gave it 6 hours because he wanted to see what were the people of South Korea gonna do. That's all it's about. It's the world's biggest shit test. Let's keep on violating them to see how they respond. And if they respond, okay, we'll walk it back. Sorry, our bad. But if they don't respond, we got them. We got them. We can take advantage of them. We can exploit them. That's what this is. That's what's going on here. It's just a shit test. We're going to declare martial law, and then the military, we're going to do it for your protection. But all of a sudden, my rights are being stripped away from me. I can't do any of the stuff I could do 3 days ago or a year ago. That's how this works. It's just the world's biggest shit test. Now, the next topic, we're going to bring that one to an end. The next topic is Joe Biden is giving billion-dollar aid package and a billion-dollar aid package to the African country of Angola. It's leaving a lot of people confused because a lot of people are wondering why on his way out, all of a sudden, Joe Biden is interested in giving $1 billion aid package to African countries, I think specifically Angola, to help with disaster relief. The guy who couldn't even give anything, the guy who couldn't give anything at all to help the people.
Being all in on Africa means making sure Africa
who couldn't give the people of North Carolina, right? The people of Pennsylvania, the people who experienced disasters in those areas. He couldn't give them but a measly couple of bucks. But he's got $1 billion to go to Angola. Guys, this is the bullshit corruption. This is where they funnel money to a country in the name of aid packages, and then all of a sudden, they're reaping the benefits. They're over here getting paid more than whatever they gave. This is how they secure the bag for the next 4 years. And I'm telling you, to make these people pay, you got to commit. I'm not voting for them. I'm not relinquishing power to them.
Being all in on Africa means making sure African voices are heard at the tables that matter most. Under my leadership in the United States, we brought in the African Union as a permanent member of the G20 economies. And we insisted on more African representation among the leaders of the International Monetary Fund and other world financial institutions. We've also pushed to ensure that developing nations do not have to choose between paying down unsustainable debt and being able to invest in their own people. And we're using our own voice to increase Africa's presence in the UN Security Council at the United Nations. That should happen. You can clap for that, folks. You should be in there. The United States continues to be the world's largest provider of humanitarian aid and development assistance.
They got to tell people to clap, because people at this point know they're lying out the sides of their damn neck. And somebody said in the comments, oh, this is about countering Chinese influence. This has nothing to do with countering Chinese influence. This is Joe Biden knows he's on his way out, and he needs to give away as much money as possible to countries that are willing to give him and his family kickbacks. They just sent another $752 million to Ukraine, who we know is losing the war and doesn't stand a chance in hell at winning. But why are they sending last-minute aid packages? This guy doesn't even have a month left yet to be in office. Next month, he will be out of office. Why is he giving $752 million aid packages to Ukraine? Because he gets a kickback for it. He gets money from those companies who get the equipment, move the equipment, do this, do that. He gets a kickback from them. This is politics 101, political corruption 101. I'm gonna give you something, and you're gonna give me a little something off the top. And there is no place on earth where you can get away with such blatant corruption more so than the African continent. This guy knows what the hell he's doing. He's not dumb. He's been doing it for years. George W. Bush did the same thing with his billions of dollars that he sent to Africa for AIDS research. Bro probably brought back 500 million in kickbacks off of that. Understand, these politicians, these politicians, they talk one language, money. If there's money to be made or stolen, they are there and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get in those positions. Trust and believe me. Trust and believe me. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get in positions where they can skim money off the top. Take your taxpayer dollars, send it over to some foreign country, say, look, we're going to say we gave y'all $1 billion in aid, but y'all going to take 900 million and y'all going to kick us back 100 million. And we're going to divvy that up. This is how it works. Whenever Western politicians step foot in Africa, it's usually a very bad omen, and I think it's omen, O-M-E-N, and unforeseeable consequences. It is what it is. There's going to be some jobs created. There's going to be some investment that happens, but just understand that whatever makes it there, it's not done just because these people are deciding to be virtuous. It's done because these people see where they can steal, where they can get a kickback, where they can take money back, and no one's going to turn a blind eye, right? They know what they're doing. Biden is smart. Bro, you in damn December in the last month of your presidency, and you worried about going to damn Angola? I mean, I know they had like a natural disaster over there, but they have natural disasters over there all the time. Never heard of a American president going over there saying, oh, let me give you $1 billion. Bro is pulling in at least 100 million off of that billion, if not more. These guys know what they're doing. These guys understand what's going on. They know the play. They're not dumb. This is what I'm telling you is the globalist agenda. These people, they want to steal your money. They want to bleed the freaking tax. They want to bleed the freaking coffers of the taxpayers' hard-earned money, and then they want to go scorched earth on their way out. If you stand up to them, they're pissed off at you. So you know what they say? If you say, you know what, let me do something nice for you. If you try to hold them accountable, they look at you like, how dare you try to hold us accountable? You disgusting maggot. You can't hold us accountable. You can't even ask questions about what we're doing. You don't deserve to know. You're on a need to know basis and you don't need to know. That's how they treat the American people. Like, this ain't our country, our republic. Like, we didn't hire them to do the jobs that they're doing. And this is why you see a lot of people who are now opting to, instead of deal with that, like that dynamic, that political dynamic, they're ready to hit the streets. They're ready to get these people out. Right? They're ready to go to the people over these people, over these people's head and see what they can do to get these people out of office. Right? That's what politicians are going through. So what they're thinking is either we're going to do scorched earth, tear everything down around us as we go out, or we got to try to find people who are easily manipulated to defend us from the people who are critical thinkers, the people who are watching things, examining things meticulously, making sure that nobody's doing something that they're not supposed to do, right? We need more of those people, more whistleblowers, more people given oversight. That's what our government needs. That's why Donald Trump said he was going to do the government efficiency agency, right? I don't know exactly the details of that, but they're basically supposed to be watching and monitoring the spending of the government, where money's being wasted, where money's being mismanaged, where money may be being stolen. And everybody's up in arms. Everybody's against that. But why? Because they're corrupt as hell. That's why. They're against it because they're corrupt as hell. And they don't want no oversight. They don't want no bodies of oversight over them, which could possibly prevent them from stealing, which could possibly prevent them from pilfering the government coffers of taxpayer dollars. This is what's going on. But it is what it is. But guys, look, we're coming up on an hour. Those are pretty much the two headlining stories. Guys, we can have more conversation, but you guys don't support the stream. You guys don't donate. You don't. A lot of people are not contributing. The same people are contributing every time to the stream, and that's okay. But I don't think that's fair. We're all getting the information, but just 2 or 3 or one person, they're contributing. So in my conscience, I can't just be like, well, let me just keep on going with this. Let me keep on talking about this or segue into different, topics and stuff like that when no one wants to contribute. You guys will give $200,000, $1 million to some guy talking about a hidden color, or this is what they hid from you and this is what they didn't tell you. And it's like, bro, we got to discuss the news. We got to discuss the politics of our time so we know what the hell is going on, what threats are being posed against, us collectively. I know we tend to see ourselves as individuals, so we don't think like, dang, this can happen to us collectively because we gonna be fine. Don't tell me what to do. But we got to start being smart. We got to start supporting the real media. Understand something. During this election, when there were so many things to be afraid of, when there was so much misinformation and fear-mongering propaganda that was being disseminated in an effort to scare you into going against your own best interest and voting for the Democrats once again, who were the independent media channels who risked everything to make sure that you were getting the true information, the accurate information? You were getting facts over propaganda and fear-mongering. You have to remember where you were getting your information from, because believe me, I have this feeling that some crazy stuff is about to be ahead. Some crazy things are about to occur. I truly believe that. And I'm usually not wrong. I don't get up here just fear-mongering and trying to scare people. But you will need reliable vehicles of information. You will need reliable sources of information, facts, so that you can make informed decisions. You have to take care of the media outlets that take care of you and do the right thing. You can't keep saying, hey, I like this guy because he tells the truth, but let me go give my money to Roland Martin. I like this guy because he tells the truth, but let me go give my money to Tariq. I like this guy, give my money to some other lion ass, Dr. Moonbee or Dr. Ma'at and all this horse shit. You have to support the outlets that are holding it down, sacrificing the 30,000 and 50,000 and 100,000 views so that we can keep bringing you the truth. You cannot allow lying and deception to be more profitable than honesty and facts-based reporting in your community. Because if you do, you're going to make everyone in your community just a bunch of liars. You guys see what's happening over there with Afro Stink Tank. This guy has totally went on a campaign of dishonesty against his own community. And why? Because it's bringing him more revenue. We live in a world where lying is more profitable than telling the truth. Do you like being lied to? Is that where you want to go from here? You know what? We got Trump in. You know what? Let's go watch the celebrity gossip channels now. Let's go watch the people who we know was bought out as they come back and try to reinvent themselves, right? So they can remain profitable. It is what it is. You're going to do what you want to do, and that is fine. But one day, do not be surprised if you look up and no one's telling the truth. Don't be surprised if you looked up and everybody is just totally cool with trafficking and lies and deception. Because if that's what, that saying where there's two wolves and you know which wolf is inside you, two wolves, and the wolf that's going to prevail in the end is the one you feed. If you feed the dishonesty, if you make it lucrative to be dishonest in your community, right? Guess what's going to happen? People are going to start dealing with you and others with more dishonesty. They're going to start dealing with, we're going to start dealing with each other with more dishonesty, because that's what's being rewarded. And even though all of us like to feel like we have this integrity and we're honest and we're this and that, we all play a little role in perpetuating the narrative, right? Oh, Wild Funk, you're 100% right. Look what Tariq did. He monetized lying. Tariq knows in the African American community, we care more about entertainment than the truth. So he said, look, I could feed these Negroes lies as long as I make it funny. They'll eat it right up. They'll pay me for it. Yvette Carnell, same thing. Same damn thing with Yvette Carnell. Get in front of you and lie through her damn teeth, and y'all in there barking like seals. Oh, yeah. But it's up to you what you want to do. I need you guys to do me one more favor. We have another channel. This is my channel that it was my backup channel, but it's going to become my primary channel, most likely. Well, it's going to become probably my primary channel because this channel is ripe for monetization, and it is it's actually growing still, even though I haven't really posted much there. But something is going on as far as YouTube with the monetization. They said, I'm eligible to apply for monetization, but when I go into the monetization window, the reapply button doesn't highlight for some reason. So I'm not dealing with that crap anymore. I'm not gonna just keep on waiting for YouTube to like decide to let me monetize. I have other channels available, channels with over 1,000 subscribers. Hold on. I have channels with 1,000 subscribers. So I'm going to just use one of those channels, and we're going to put 4,000 watch hours on those channels, and we're going to use those channels to get monetized. I think at this point that is the best thing to do. And then so we'll just go and gradually we'll move everything over there. We'll probably do some different content. We'll keep the Pan-African content. Let me show you guys the channel. But oh shoot, let me see. I don't know why all my channels aren't popping up. Hold on. I don't know. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I don't know why this thing won't let me like switch accounts. But I want to show you guys the other channel. I really don't know why this is not working, but it's how it is all the time. That's how it is. You can look at something all the time, and then when you want to use it, it acts funny. I don't know why this is being like this. But let me see if Microsoft Edge will let me do it. Yeah, I don't know what the heck's going on with this. I have multiple channels, but it's only showing me one of my channels. Don't know why. Let me see if I could go in through here. Let me see if I could share this here. So we're live right now. Man, it's only showing like we got 52 people watching on YouTube, but we got like 150 people watching on X. X is blowing up. Elon, I think with X is doing a good thing. He's keeping it more honest. Right there, guys, at the bottom, if you look at the link that I just posted, you'll see it says Notorious BDT, the Notorious Brandon DeVaris Tucker. I'm notorious now. I feel like I have real enemies now in social media space. Like, honestly, like I feel like YouTube is low-key conspiring against me. Right? I don't agree with nothing Kwame Nkrumah or Thomas Sankara. No. None of their attempts at being socialist, none of that. You guys can do whatever, say whatever you want. There's no way you're going to convince me that socialism is good for Africa or anywhere else. That's why those dudes are dead now, especially Thomas Sankara. Their own people rejected that stuff. Like, I encourage all of you guys saying that, go to Africa. Go to Africa. Go to Africa and try to raise taxes. Because, socialism is going to require taxes to be raised. People are going to have to pay into that more. Go look what happened when William Ruto in Kenya tried to raise taxes just to pay back loans. Dude, they tried to throw his ass out of office. So I love when people come with the like, oh, Kwame Nkrumah and all, bro, yeah, okay, feels good to say that, but you're tone deaf when it comes, to the continent of Africa. That's the best way I could put it. You're being tone deaf when it comes to what's the realities of the continent of Africa. Nobody in Africa is trying to do socialism, bro. You can be like, yeah, it feels good, and yeah, that's why no, hell no, they're not doing it. But I don't know why I'm really trying to figure out why all my channels aren't showing on the actual laptop. Young Mike Tyson. Mike! But I'm just telling you guys, you got to be realistic. You got to go, with what's really, possible and what's really viable, more importantly. And a lot of this stuff people be saying is like you just got to know your own people. You got to understand the continent of Africa. They're not going for that shit. People in Africa on the side of the road selling bananas and shit. You think those people are like, yeah, let's live in a utopian socialist society. I like Star Trek and stuff as much as everybody else, but that's just not who we are as a people. we like money. Black people like money. A lot of us aren't willing to work for it, but a lot of us love it. We like it. So just keep it real. Oh, black capitalism, 100%. It's not only what Africa needs, it's what African people are. That's what they want. Do me a favor, go see. You guys see this link right here? That link that I just posted in the comments, that is to my other YouTube channel, the Notorious BDT. That's where we're going to be doing a lot. That's where we're going to be remonetized on the Notorious BDT page. And for some reason, YouTube is like hating on me hard right now. I don't know what the hell's going on with this shit. But they won't even let me pull this up. I have no clue why. They won't let me pull anything up. But yeah, I'm about to take over this part of the algorithm. I probably got to post something because I don't have anything in there at the moment. But the link is in the comments. And it won't even let me switch to this other channel. Like on the laptop. For some reason, it's not letting me switch to the other channel. But maybe within here. Yeah, it's only showing me like one channel, which is crazy. I don't know why. Maybe I accidentally signed out or something. But I don't know what happened. But I think I got it now. Thank you. Yeah, everybody go sub there. We're about to be doing a lot over there because that's where we're going to redo the monetization. We're not going into the new year demonetized, even if we just got to start another channel. That's okay. I don't mind doing that. Just as long as yeah, truth. I know you already over there. I don't know what's going on with this crap. I don't know what's going on, but YouTube is just always freaking stupid. I don't know what the hell is happening with this. But what I do know is it's working on my phone, but it's not working on my laptop for some reason. Okay. I really don't know what I'm doing. But okay. I don't know what I did wrong, but we'll have to figure it out at another time. But everybody go over there and sub. We're already over 1,000 subs over there. I just want to make sure that everyone's over there. So when I drop content, you guys will be able to see it. Okay, I got that signed out. Okay, cool. I don't even know what the hell is going on, but everything's signed out for some reason. No, I had a lot of videos over there, but I deleted them all to make it more. He said, let's switch over to get it started. I'll be posting there tomorrow. I gotta sync everything. I gotta really clean up. Honestly, I really gotta clean up my like social media stuff because it's just like all over the place. It's really all over the place. And honestly, I don't like it. I don't like how my social, like everything's like all mixed up. Emails, different emails and stuff. I got to get all this shit like together. It makes it really hard to navigate. Like right now, I'm just trying to, okay, I'm going on YouTube, something I do all the time. It's like I just signed in. Now it's like, oh, you're not signed in. So then let's say I sign in here, boom. Continue. I could do a fingerprint sign in. Did that. Okay. So they're like this. I don't know what the heck is going on. Okay, so I'm here. So I need to add an account, I guess. You can't do this stuff in real time. But I couldn't tell you why on my laptop it's not letting me do what I want to do. But everywhere else it is. So I think I might have it now. Hopefully I got it now. Let me see. Yeah, something's going on. I think this is something in Chrome because it's not letting us like sync everything. It's not letting everything like be synced together. It's supposed to. Because your Google is logged in to the one account for your whole laptop. I don't even know what you mean by that. I don't even know what that means. Maybe I need to get into this. Oh, okay. I think I'm in the I think I'm in the wrong version of Google Chrome. I have like another Google Chrome that has everything locked in. Okay. No, I don't think I made all my channels with the same Google account. Yeah, I need to switch accounts, but it's not letting me. It's like now giving me this like I think I actually created another account. Like it's weird, but I got to get here and clean all this shit up. I got to clean up everything. This is not good. Hold on, let's see. I don't know what I did, but I'll figure it out later. But guys, thank you for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me, you do for this channel. We're going to be over at the Notorious BDT more often now. So make sure you are tapped into that channel. For some reason, on my phone, everything is working. But for some reason, this is giving me problems. But just know that it's here. I gave you all the link to it in the comments. But something is going on, and we're gonna figure out. But thank y'all so much. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourself, but most importantly, take care of each other. Peace.